What do we got for divine feminine, divine masculine energies? Global, worldwide, micro to macro, as above, so below. Something not coming together. Where are we at? What else do we have? Difficulty in getting something to happen. I always encourage people to watch on 2x. I watch everything on 2x. I even considered speeding up the video before I upload it, but I don't think that some people want to watch it that fast, so that's like the only reason why I'm not doing that. You know what? But I do like to tell you to do that. Impatience about some sort of work. I'm getting this more as a work thing. There's impatience, yet there's difficulty in getting it going. This is the card of skill building. So there's something about, can I get this more? Sometimes I feel like this gets just too personal. Foundations. You know, I guess the personal is the universal. I used to be really neurotic about, like, I used to write stories. Funny story, I actually wrote, should I talk about it? I actually wrote something when I was living in New York that was about like a group of girls. It was kind of like millennial version of Sex and the City, and I was actually writing for somebody. I mean, point of the story is, I can get into that later, but I used to be super neurotic about like making things universal so that they apply to everyone, but oftentimes the personal is the universal. The more specific you get, sometimes the more universal you get, because people can still apply it to themselves. So anyway, you might not believe me, but people who know me believe me. I was writing for, how many names should I mention? I was writing film reviews for my friend Brandon, my former friend Brandon, at this place, for this place called Hammer to Nail. I was also happened to be writing a story that I thought was pretty good. And I was like, what do I do with this? Because like I knew people who had sisters who worked in publishing. I didn't really personally know anyone in publishing. I was like, well, I guess I could self-publish, right? So I asked him for advice. And I told him a little bit about the story. And I sent him emails from the email account where I was sending myself drafts. What should we do? Work around forming some sort of foundation. Some, you know, tangled deceptions are coming out, and along with that unraveling of those secrets, it's actually helping to become unstuck. Unraveling of toxic behavior too. Just like, nobody's gonna put up with this anymore. Like, you're not gonna put up with this from the DM anymore. Like, you know, if you want to do what you want to do, like, that's not gonna fly anymore. Knight of Pentacles is a good sign. DM coming in, being a lot more trustworthy. To hear more about my story, you'll just have to watch, because I'm not going to interrupt too much in these. I do have a relative now, a baby cousin, third cousin, who works who's a writer in New York. For all the big names contributing. 10 of Pentacles reversed, lack of abundance, fast moving. We got all this fast moving action. Knight of Wands, very fast. Communication. There might be a problem with the resources for this project, for this plan between the DM and DF. Just got that guy. Ego battles. Obstinance from the DM, probably. I mean, it could be for both people. Like, wanting to hold your ground, I mean, both of these. This is like holding your ground in terms of your opinion, it's just like, you just think that it just doesn't matter anymore. It just doesn't seem to matter as much in this, and the plan is becoming more important than any sort of opinion or stance that either person is having. There's a victory over that. There's a victory over the conflict. This is a card for conflict. In reverse, it's releasing conflict. I have lots of stories. You can keep watching to get more stories. Lots of interesting stories. What else do we have? So what's gonna happen? I mean, I did get an Emperor reversed. Divine Masculine in reverse. Literally, I mean, that is the Divine Masculine card. Divine Masculine's having some issues. Things are not going so well. Things are going much better for Divine Feminine, and that has not been the case in the soulmate cycle for a while. Things are going a lot better. There's a travel aspect in here. This is travel. This is travel. The DM has this idea. I think it might be separate from the plan. I don't know. It might be part of the plan. The DM, the only thing he seems to be really determined about is the travel aspect going on here. I mean, it could be excluding you, right? The only thing that he really wants to do is get away from his surroundings. But I think even there's some difficulty with that. He's starting to feel really stuck. It could be because of who he's surrounding himself with, though. Right as I'm saying that, 3 of Wands. 3 of Wands, somebody looking out onto the path ahead. What else is there to say about why he's feeling that way? Choices. Bogged down by choices, perhaps, in his current surroundings. The only choices he seems to prefer are the ones that takes him away from his current surroundings. He might even be feeling like he doesn't belong or doesn't have a place where he is currently. What about the Divine Feminine? Can we get some cards for the Divine Feminine? They're having a good time. Success, desired, getting opportunities. This is not with the masculine. They're like, well, our stuff isn't going very fast, but I have stuff going on. Queen of Pentacles, financially abundant. What is this plan? The Chariot. There's power behind the plan. It needs to come together. Some of the emotional issues, the psychological aspects between the relationship, the love bonds between the masculine and feminine are probably what's holding up this plan, as I've said before. I don't know how widespread. I mean, I feel like sometimes my reads resonate quite widely, universally, as I was mentioning before. Page of Cups. I know that this will resonate with a collective that that identifies with me and the way that I do readings and my journey. Who knows who else it's going to resonate with? But I don't expect everyone to resonate with this. Okay, here's the plan. Divine Masculine kind of coming in a little weak. Page of Cups is very like idealistic, not really rooted in reality, has good intentions, but is very naive, maybe. That could be a possibility, about the like a material plan, something that requires like more than just some good vibes and sentimental feelings. What's the solution? What should be done? This is always my favorite. Solution to end the reading. So the conventional, the traditional, the typical path that the masculine has been adhering to, probably the surroundings that they've been maintaining, the people, the relationships, the situations that they've been maintaining for the sake of their accustomed patterns, like how they're used to doing things, are not working out. It's not helping the plan. I mean, this is answering what should be done in order to move forward, in order for balance to be had between the masculine and feminine. The feminine represents unknown path, and if the masculine is stuck, then that's just by default going to block out the feminine. It's a form of gatekeeping. It does gatekeep. I think I've talked about that in previous, I know I have. I've talked about that in previous readings, about the feminine industries, typically more feminine leaning industries, the non-tech industries, the, handmade industries, you could say, anything that has an empathy or human element to it, empathic or human element, such as, I was talking about the top 10 non-tech related industries, which would be, I don't know if flowers, I believe, is in there, jewelry. These are industries that move lots of money internationally, that often are overlooked and I think are being overlooked right now. And these are the industries that give technology their application. So that's a form of gatekeeping. Like, let's just pay attention to tech. Let's just, tech is the most important thing. Like, what are these other industries? They've just, and then also, how AI services non-tech or low-tech industries, like psychology. Tons of people are using AI for psychology, and I think that in the future, a lot of what AI is going to be doing is reducing our mental bandwidth load. You know how everyone talks about how, oh my god, I just can't handle any more than this? I think that's a lot of what AI is going to be functioning as an assistant for. Not in a, this is, I'm saying this is technology is meant to make our lives easier, right? And I think that that's the healthiest, least toxic way that AI is going to assist human beings. I'm not talking about any sort of dumbing ourselves down with AI or anything like that. I'm talking about assistance, emotional assistance, my brain is overloaded, I need help assistance, that kind of stuff. Helper, assistance. I think that's a pretty feminine application for AI, personally. Moving away from something to get healing. Moving away from these conventional structures. Moving away from, this is the holding on to the past. You're moving away from holding on to the past too. This is like the memories. This is a memories card. A memories card. This is a card for memories, and it can be for soulmates, but I'm reading it more as like things that have come past, structures that have come past, and also like ways of relating between male and female in the soulmate cycle that are conventional. And there's going to have to be a moving away from all of that in order to get healing, the kind of healing that is the solution to get this plan moving back in action. It's so hard to know when to wind it down. Maybe that's a good sign though. I think that's where we're going to end today. Like and follow for more. I'm going to keep talking about stories from my life too, if you want to check in for that. All right, take care, bye.